Guys, I wanted to point this out to you. This is something that's happening right now. We're gonna get into the video, but just before that, I just wanted to point out we are doing a 24-hour marathon for knife rights. Doug has put this up on the Knife Rights website. There's a list of all the channels that are participating. My block is from 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're on my side of the country, it's 9 p.m. to 11. But there are links to each one of the channels that will take you to the channel so that if you want to watch this 24-hour telethon, it's for knife rights and they do a lot for the community. So I'm going to shoot an actual intro for that, but just so you guys know, that's what's happening. So without any further ado, here comes the intro. We're going to take a look at the Artisan Hoverwing. I got it in and I had never gotten to see it before. I really liked it. When I saw it, it does have some issues. So after about a week or so of carry, I put it on a shelf. We're just getting around to filming it. So without any further ado, let's turn down the volume so y'all can listen to some music. Behind me is the Knife Rights website. If you're not a member of Knife Rights, you should be. I need to renew my membership. Actually, I'll probably do it during the marathon just because it'll be fun and you guys can see me do it. But at any rate, Knife Rights, Doug Ritter and those guys, they do a lot to protect your rights to carry knives because, as we all know, knives are tools. They're not weapons. They shouldn't be regulated in the same fashion, and there's just a bunch of silliness that goes along with that. So we're going to do this whole big 24-hour thing. I believe I'm going to shoot something for that, so you may have already heard me talk about it, but I'm not sure yet. This will all come out in the edit. So yeah, go check it out. I think that if I remember correctly, he has a thing in there that takes you to each individual channel participating, but I'll talk about that later. So this is the Artisan Hoverwing. This is a nice little knife it's really unique looking. It's pretty interesting. It carries really well, and it is a very attractive knife. So this is one of the higher end Artisans in M390. So let's go ahead, turn this around, oh, Mike, you always screw this. Turn this around and take a look at it from above. All right, before we get into the specs, let me just show you, because you can obviously see what drew me to this knife. It's an attractive knife, a lot of cool milling, a lot of facets, the blade shape even, lots of facets. Sorry, I didn't do a real good job cleaning it up, but it is a fingerprint magnet because it is that burger grind satin. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the specs on this knife because this is one of those higher end Artisan knives. So this is the Hoverwing. So what you're looking at is a 3.94 inch drop point M390 blade that is a flat grind satin, flat grind satin finished blade. So they have the blade stock thickness listed as 0.15. Now I got this information from Knife Center, that's my preferred vendor. So if I can get the info from there, I like to get it because then I get the price and everything. So let me grab the calipers and we're going to take a look at that blade stock thickness behind the edge thickness. All right, just got done zeroing the calipers. Sorry about that, guys. I have a feeler gauge that I base this off of. So I figure the best way to do this, because this is such a multi-grind knife, 0.15, pretty much right on. Let's look at behind the edge thickness because I'm curious about this. I hadn't checked it yet. I did use this. It is a little bit thick behind the edge, I believe. Right behind the edge thickness is 0.035. That's right behind the edge. That's about as far behind the edge as I can get. It does thicken up further than that. I had it, I did do some cutting with it. It's not as slicey as some other knives, I will tell you that. So let's go ahead and look at the handle. You're looking at a handle length 5.04, and it's done in what was listed as TC4 titanium. So it's still titanium frame lock, and it does have a steel lock bar insert. So it runs on ceramic bearings. It's really smooth, I'm not gonna lie. There is a couple little weird things we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and get the weight out of the way. I have this listed as 4.06 ounces. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this in ounces first. Let's say 4.06. I imagine it's going to tell me it's right at 4 ounces. 4 1/4. So for those of you that don't use freedom units, in grams, that would be 121 grams. Okay, let's get this out of the way and actually just talk about the knife. So guys, I do like these knives that have been heavily milled and things like this to give them that aesthetic. I like the Reich Hummingbird. It's kind of just showcases what they're capable of doing. The milling and everything on this is done incredibly well. It's smooth. There's no hot spots to speak of on the handle. It's not like any of these are sharp. The pocket clip is just great. I mean, even these screws stand up a little proud. You don't feel it. You don't feel it unless you rub your thumb over it. As you can see, I carried a little bit. There is a little bit of scuffing on the pocket clip. Now, there are a couple things about this I don't like. Let's get those out of the way first. This is very sharp in here. This is not an opening aperture. This isn't like a Spidey hole where you can flip it. It's going to just peel the surface right off your fingernail. And you can't get a good angle on it to flip it. And it'll give you a strider thumb if you try. Other thing I don't like about it, I don't like this style pivot. I never have, and it has nothing to do with what people seem to associate it with. I just don't like that style pivot. But the pocket clip is ambidextrous. However, if you're a lefty, it's only tipped down. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like tipped down at all. That would be a deal breaker for them. I kind of know why they did. I mean, it would make it difficult because the way the milling was done from side to side, it's not the same. You do want a smooth spot for a pocket clip. So if you look, the pocket clip would fall in an area where there's not a big groove underneath it. Like back here, it was thought out that there's a flat spot under that so it doesn't catch your pocket material. But the fact of limiting you to one carry option that's opposite, you see what I'm saying? I really don't like that idea. Those are really the only things that I don't like about it. There is a thing that's a little bit weird, however, and I'll mention this because it might be a deal breaker for somebody, some people. There is a detent ball in it that's set way back here. Now, what that winds up doing is there's a section of that where that is running on the, can you hear it? There's a little section where that is running on that steel. It's steel to steel from the steel lock bar insert before the detent ball engages. Now, I haven't felt that be anything unusual because a lot of times by the time you're here, by the time you're taking your thumb off of that, you've already engaged the detent ball. But it's a little strange to me that it just kind of does that. And you can feel it if you're just really messing with the knife. That little bit right there. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, I mean, I've seen other knives that do that. I've just always thought it was strange. And then the fact that this is tapered, it gives it a unique look, but that thumb ramp is a little thinner. I mean, this right here is really not that functional. There's nothing about that. So those are bad things about the knife. I will tell you, it carries really well. It's sharpened up. M390 on this was apparently done really well because it sharpened up nicely. I only took this to 1,000 grit and then finished it on an ultra-fine ceramic, so it's not a mirror polished edge, but it sharpened up really well. I didn't have any issues with the sharpening. I didn't feel like it was soft. It was not poorly ground at all. It just is a little thick. That's all. It's kind of a chunky blade behind the edge. But in pocket, it carried really well. Would this be a knife that I would grab and use, and that would be my first choice? No, but I do like these knives that have that. There are knives that I will carry regardless of how functional or whether they meet my requirements of what I usually would carry. I will overlook that if they have a certain aesthetic, and I do like this. I like this skeletonized look. But I will tell you, I'm not keeping this knife, ladies and gentlemen. This knife is going to be a giveaway. So, yeah, the last spec I've got right now, these were more expensive. These were in the upper realm of what you would pay for a artisan knife. An artisan knife, I should say. These are MSRP at $299. However, right now they are on sale at Knife Center, which is my preferred vendor because you get points, for $202.49. So MSRP is $209. These are $202 right now on there for M390 with a lot of really fancy millwork, some little flourishes, like you got some pops of color here around your lanyard hole, which on this one, that's attractive. I don't dislike that. Pivot collar, anodized titanium pivot collar. So yeah, you get a you get a lot of coolness with it. So not much else to say about this one, guys. Let's turn this around and do some final thoughts on the Artisan Hoverwing. I have been trying to film this outro for like forever. This is like the 8th time. So at any rate, the Artisan Hoverwing, it's a cool little knife. It has a couple little things that I don't like about it. I don't like the idea of tip up, tip down. So if you're left-handed, the only carry option you have is tip down. I know a lot of people don't like that. It's got a couple little hot spots, and just the placement of the detent ball gives it a little bit of weirdness at first. Once you get used to it, it's not that big a deal. It acts almost like a safety. So that's it on this one, guys. Back to the knife rights thing. You guys know I put up the thing. I'm gonna shoot an actual piece for an intro to go in before the actual intro. But Knife Right's 24-hour telethon, marathon, Doug Ritter has put up a list of channels by time. If you wanna go that way, I'll put up a list of channels by time as well. It's for a good cause. Doug Ritter and Knife Rights, they do a lot for the knife community. So guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why I can't change the content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you wanna support the channel, it's as simple as like I do with other channels. I share it with you guys. If you could share the content with someone you think would enjoy it, it gets us out to a broader audience. But if you do want to support the channel financially, there's a ton of ways you can do it. I have a join tab down below, which is personally best for me because I get paid directly from YouTube, where you can get you get early access to videos regardless of tier. If you're baseline and premium tiers, I do exclusive giveaways and exclusive content. And if you're a premium tier member, you have access to a sharpening tutorial series that I've been doing and working on for them that walks you through basically step-by-step the basics of sharpening and getting into some advanced stuff. I also have affiliate links down below where you can purchase things such as stones and knives and stuff like that through Amazon and a couple of other companies. And I get a portion of the profits. It doesn't cost you anything at checkout, but they just give me a portion of the profits. So the affiliate links are all down there. And even if you don't see something you like, you can use that same affiliate link to log into Amazon. I still get credit for anything you purchase. And the final way is I do have a merchandise store. Ember Shirt Co. and my merch store are all one company. So I have links to both the base Ember Shirt Co. and my merch store. And I've set up a coupon code for you guys. It's CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp. Saves you 10% at checkout. Guys, I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. It makes it so much easier for Nico and I to moderate it. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.